Hey folks, welcome back to HeartGold vs. Crystal. We are here in Ecruteak City, and we are taking on the Ecruteak City Gym. Now, the Ecruteak City Gym is the Ghost-type gym. Now, there aren't a whole lot of Ghost types in this game, to be honest. Ghost, in general, is not one of the more diverse types. But in the original games, it was the Ghastly line plus Mischievous. And Mischievous isn't in this gym. So basically, what you have is a gym full of Ghastlies and the occasional Haunter. And that can be good for Pokemon that are really good at fighting Ghastlies and Haunters, but it's not so useful for people who can't. So you'll find that you use the same Pokemon over and over and over in this gym. And in the case of HeartGold, that Pokemon is Bree, because Bree has the Psychic-type move that does super effective damage against Ghastly's Poison-type. Now, I'm showing this fight not just because that's how fights go and I wanted to demonstrate it, because you'll see that plenty, but also because Bree is evolving. Now, Togepi evolves when it levels up with a certain level of happiness. Happiness is gained by using it in battle, running around with it, not letting it be poisoned, and giving it haircuts. And once it reaches that level of happiness, it will level up and evolve into Togetic. Now, Togetic, I had one once in one of my first files of gold, but I haven't really used one since. So it might be a bit of an interesting experience. I'm not sure that'll work. It's a hell of a lot better than Togepi. That much is for sure. Anyway, the puzzle gimmick here is basically there's a certain aura of light around each trainer, and you have to observe the pathways illuminated by the light in order to properly get across these precarious platforms. And unfortunately it goes out. But, also, over on the Crystal side, we've got another evolution, Webster, evolving into Ariados. Webster is one of two Pokemon who are extremely useful in this gym in Crystal. And you'll see the other when we go over to the gym leader, Morty. And I didn't really show the fight for Webster's evolution, just because you're gonna see basically that in the Crystal fight. So may as well wait. Anyway, I just finished explaining the gym puzzle for HeartGold. In Crystal, it's an invisible walkway. It's not very interesting. And here I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any trainers or anything. And then I went back and healed. So yeah, let's go over the pathway again. I don't know, it's something that you can do kind of via trial and error, and it's forgiving, but I'll roll with it, I guess. It's not so much a puzzle so much as how good are you at remembering things. Anyway, Morty is a Ghost-type gym leader, and he devotes his area of study to Ho-Oh, the rainbow-hued Pokemon, and the legendary beasts, as we learned before. Now, unfortunately, like I said, he is not very diverse in his Pokemon choice. He has a Ghastly, he has two Haunters, and he has a Gengar. All of them have the same, typing, all of them have the same abilities, and can be handled more or less the same way, except as you go up the evolutionary line, they naturally get more difficult, because they're more powerful. Now, I could just bring in Bree from the get-go and probably sweep everything if I wanted to, but I wanted to get a little bit of experience for other team members. So, still doing the bait and switch with Everett, bringing in Klaus, even though Klaus doesn't have much advantageous against these guys, just for the sake of spreading out experience. But Gengar on the other hand, that's not something you want to play risky with. So Bree goes straight in, not even doing bait and switch. Now Bree is especially useful against Ghosts, not only because of the extra sensory, but also because Bree is normal type, part normal type. She gained the flying type with evolution. And that makes her immune to any and all ghost-type moves that they come up with. If they happen to use, say, Shadow Ball, Bree will be immune to it, and that's good. Now, Gengar likes to put your Pokemon to sleep, so before you head in, you'll probably want to buy some like 5 Awakenings, maybe 10 if you're feeling really paranoid. Because he's one of those annoying, persistent guys that will just keep using Hypnosis over and over until you run out of Awakenings, basically. Which is just the stupidest frickin' thing. Hate him. And he's also very, very quick. He is a 3rd tier evolution midway through the first part of the game. You're not going to have a whole lot of things that can outspeed this guy unless you are significantly over-leveled. And you can be. You can justifiably be over-leveled for this fight, because there's a whole lot more you can do without doing this fight. But overall, the idea is that he's supposed to be really fast and annoying. Now, I was hoping that that berry would put him out of potion range, and apparently it has, but he's still doing that thing with the Hypnosis, which is annoying. If I were playing risky, I could try using a move while asleep and hoping that Bree will wake up immediately. But if that doesn't work out, I believe this guy is like Dream Eater or Nightmare or something along those lines, and that's no good. You don't want that. Those are some of the most powerful moves in the game, and at this point in the game, they're pretty devastating. But anyway, Gengar goes out of the way, and that is basically the biggest threat on his team, and good lord, that's a lot of experience. And now he just has 2 Haunter left, so I think I'm going to go back to the bait-and-switch strategy, using Pokemon that I wasn't using so much before, just for the sake of spreading experience and having a more diverse video. Now, Haunter, do you need me to explain this? Haunter is the midpoint between Ghastly and Gengar. It basically operates basically like his Ghastlies. It likes to lay curses, and that's about it. Anyway, bringing in Webster here. Here you can really see a discrepancy between how useful Webster was in this gym, because in Crystal, I was using him all the frickin' time, and he got up to level 22, which is where he evolved. But since Webster hasn't gotten any use here, he's still stuck at level 18, which is unfortunate. That's what Dig not being useful against ghost types will do, and not being on Webster in this case. So, yeah, hopefully Webster will have an opportunity to get more experience in the near future, because that's a big level gap right there. Anyway, Webster's primo use against these guys is Nightshade, as I've mentioned before. See, there's Dream Eater and Nightmare. Not sure why he was using him when Webster wasn't asleep. Webster is nice here because he has the Insomnia ability and cannot be put to sleep, but you'd think the AI would notice that he wasn't asleep. Not sure what's up with that. Anyway, 1 more Haunter left. I think this one's a higher level than the first one, but it can be taken care of in more or less the same way. Unless you have some sort of speed tie going on, it's not gonna cause any major differences, I don't think. Anyway, who do we have this time? Alright, back to Klaus. Yeah, the nice thing about fighting these ghosts is that because they love to use Curse, that's basically half their HP out of the way. And if you have a team that doesn't do a whole lot of sheer damage, like mine, that saves time for you. And a lot of the time, if you're not doing a bait-and-switch strategy, someone will use Curse, and then you just finish them off the same turn. And you can plow through an entire trainer, often without even needing to heal. Morty, however, generally the Gengar will take more than 1 hit, or the Haunter will take more than 1 hit. Anyway, Sayonara Klaus, it's okay, you can do that. I didn't want to use any healing items because God, I have the fight in the bag. I don't need them. That would be a waste of resources. Anyway, there's another Nightshade, and unfortunately, it does exactly the amount of damage that Webster has left. But such is life. Anyway, enough playing around, let's just finish him off. There's no escape, Haunter. One last extra sensory, and it goes down pretty darn easily. A good Psychic type move will wreck this entire gym, no matter which game you're playing. Anyway, that takes care of the HeartGold version of this fight, and I'll see you for Crystal after this commercial break. Alrighty, Crystal time. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that rather than just having Bree wreck the entire place, I actually had two very useful Pokemon to use against the various ghost types in this gym. And by various, I mean 3. Klaus is not one of them. Klaus is still just using Surf against these guys. One thing that they like to do in Crystal that they don't really do in HeartGold is use Lick. Lick is not a very strong move, but it does have the chance of paralysis, and because the computer hates me, that means I will get paralyzed a lot. And that's no fun. Nobody likes that. But kind of in the same vein as the HeartGold fight, this is an opportunity to get some of my less useful Pokemon for the Ghost Gym a little bit of experience, because this is a Ghastly. Come on, who cares? Nobody cares. And it just happens to be Klaus in this situation as well. And yeah, Ghastly is out of there. And what's he gonna bring in next? Haunter. Going for a slightly different order. I think he does like to use Gengar like third in this game rather than second. Anyway, let's follow the same strategy. I swear to God, I think you're gonna see both of the useful Pokemon in this fight. You're definitely gonna see one. But anyway, just keep doing that. Plus, yeah, sorry doodle, 4-hit KO if I'm lucky. And I'm not sure if it's just, I don't know if it's the way Crystal is programmed or just sheer dumb luck, but Hypnosis does not hit nearly as often in this game as in HeartGold. I mean, you remember that encounter with Gengar, Hypnosis seemed to work every single time. Here, it just kept failing. I don't really know. Anyway, I believe Gengar is up next. Yes, sorry doodle, so let's switch over to one of our superstars. Yeah, there we go, Sandra. As you might have suspected, Sandra has Mudslap, and holy cow, it's actually still useful. The thing about the Ghastly line in this game is that because abilities don't exist yet, they don't have Levitate, and that means that they're still weak to ground-type moves. And that means Mudslap still works, and I can abuse the same accuracy-lowering strategy that I've abused so often before. And hopefully that'll benefit me in getting Hypnosises to miss. Hypnoses? I don't know. I generally don't refer to Hypnosis in the plural. But as with prior things, the more Mudslaps I get in, the less of a threat the Gengar becomes. And Sandra's basically a boss like that. And this is the strategy that I was using against most of the ghost types in the gym when I wasn't defeating them with Webster's Dig. And you should see a huge little spike in experience after we beat this Gengar. Because good lord, this Gengar, tons of experience. If you need something to get a bunch of experience all at once, you can do a bait and switch on the Gengar and it'll get like 500, even if it doesn't do anything. It might be a good idea to just do a bait and switch for the hell of it. even if it's not, even if a Pokemon is not desperate. Anyway, it looks like Sandra's gonna wrap up this fight on her own. So, I'll just say that Webster would have done the same job using Dig, but without the accuracy lowering. Things would have died quicker, but wouldn't have been as like, yeah. Oh, well, actually, look at that. Mudslap is out, so we'll have to stick to Rollout. Yeah, Webster would have taken him out just as easily, especially now that he's evolved into Ariados, which hopefully we will see cool things from in the future. But that takes care of Morty on the Crystal side, and also puts Sandra to level 22. Now you Sandshrew fans out there might know what that means. That's right, it's the third evolution of the video. Sandra's evolving into a Sandslash. Hell yes, this is just a good video for people who like evolution. Well, you Darwinists out there can be my homeboys today. Anyway, he will give you the Fog Badge, which I believe lets you control traded Pokemon up to level 50 if you so desire. Way over-leveled at this point if you have anything even remotely close to that. And then, in both versions of the game, he will give you TM30 for Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is one of the best Ghost-type moves. Thing is, it's physical in Crystal, but special in HeartGold and Still Silver. And that makes it viable on Bree in this game, but not so viable in Crystal. It may be viable on some other Pokemon that we have, possibly. I'm still in the decision-making process, but here it has definitely trumped Metronome in usefulness. All the good Metronomes came in Crystal, okay? Just FYI, just before you get too angry about that. But anyway, that takes care of the Ecruteak City Gym, and I will see you guys next time for Going Beyond the City Limits.